What if I told you a computer could scan through your DNA and find the one tiny mutation causing disease in seconds? Today, I'm going to show you how bioinformatics helps scientists find mutated genes using data, math, and a lot of computing power. Let's break it down. Your DNA has about 3 billion letters. 3 billion. And sometimes a disease can be caused by a change in just one of them. One wrong letter in an instruction manual the size of a skyscraper. That is the problem scientists are trying to solve. Imagine trying to find one typo inside a book with 3 billion pages. You could read it manually, but that would take forever. And even worse, you might miss it. So instead of searching by hand, scientists use computers to compare biological data and detect patterns that humans would never spot on their own. This is where bioinformatics comes in. Bioinformatics is basically the combination of biology, computer science, and statistics. Instead of only looking at cells under a microscope, we can now ask a computer, which genes are active, which genes are quiet, and which genes are behaving differently in disease? The first step is comparison. Scientists usually start with two groups, one healthy group and one sick group. The goal is simple. Find out what is different between them, because if one gene is normal in healthy samples but extremely active in sick samples, that gene might be involved in the disease. Next, scientists extract RNA from the cells. RNA is important because it tells us which genes are actually being used. Think of DNA as the full recipe, then the RNA goes into a sequencing machine. This machine reads millions of RNA molecules and converts them into data. Every RNA molecule gets counted. So for each gene, the computer gets a number. That number tells us how active the gene is. More reads means a gene is highly active. Fewer reads means a gene is quiet. And the output is massive. You don't just get one number, you get millions of read counts across thousands of genes and multiple samples. For example, gene A might have 200 reads, gene B might have 5,000 reads, gene C might have 8,500 reads. Now the big question is, which of these differences actually matter? But there's a problem. Raw biological data is messy. Some samples have more total reads than others. Some experiments have batch effects. Some genes naturally vary from person to person. And sometimes one weird sample can throw off the whole analysis. So scientists cannot just compare raw numbers directly. The data has to be cleaned, normalized, and tested statistically. That's where DSEQ2 comes in. DSEQ2 is a statistical tool used in RNA sequencing analysis. It helps scientists compare gene activity between groups. It normalizes the data so samples can be compared fairly. It reduces noise. It calculates how much each gene changed. And then it tells us which changes are statistically significant. In other words, DSEQ2 helps separate real biological signals from random noise. Here's what DSEQ2 does step by step. First, it takes the read count data, then it normalizes the samples so they are on the same scale. Next, it models the distribution of the counts, then it calculates fold change, which tells us how much a gene increased or decreased. After that, it calculates a p-value, which tells us how confident we are that the change is real. Finally, it flags the genes that are significantly different between healthy and sick samples. Now look at this bar chart. Each bar represents how active a gene is. Most genes look pretty normal, but gene C is different. In the healthy group, gene C is low. In the sick group, gene C shoots way up. That is exactly the kind of signal scientists are looking for. Gene C is acting suspicious. Let's put numbers on it. In the healthy sample, gene C has 800 reads, but in the sick sample, gene C has 8,500 reads. That is more than a 10 times increase. A small difference might be random, but a 10 times difference? That gets attention. The computer saw the pattern instantly. This is called fold change. Fold change answers one question. How different is this gene between the two groups? To calculate it, you divide the sick read count by the healthy read count. So for gene C, 8,500 divided by 800 is about 10. That means gene C is about 10 times more active in the sick group. Scientists often convert this into log2 fold change. A log2 fold change far from zero means a gene changed a lot, and gene C is definitely far from zero. But fold change alone is not enough. A gene can look different just by chance, so we also need a p-value. The p-value asks, how likely is it that this difference happened randomly? A p-value below 0.05 is usually considered significant. Below 0.001 is very significant, and if gene C has a p-value like 0.00000001, that means the chance this happened randomly is extremely low. So now gene C is not just different, it is statistically suspicious. This is where the volcano plot comes in. Each dot on this plot is one gene. Genes near the middle did not change much. Genes far to the left or right changed a lot. And genes high up on the plot are statistically significant. So the most interesting genes are usually in the top corners. Those are the suspects. They changed a lot, and the statistics say the change is probably real. Once scientists find a suspicious gene, the work is not over. Now they have to validate it. They might test a gene in cells. They might check if it affects a disease pathway. They might ask whether the gene can be targeted with a drug. Bioinformatics gives scientists a short list. Then the wet lab confirms what is actually happening in biology. This is how researchers can discover genes involved in rare diseases, cancer, genetic disorders, and drug response. A computer can scan through thousands of genes and highlight the few that matter most. That can help scientists understand what went wrong inside the cell, and sometimes it can point toward a possible treatment. This is why bioinformatics is so powerful. So here's the full pipeline. First, collect healthy and sick samples. Second, extract RNA from the cells. Third, sequence the RNA and count the reads. Fourth, run DESeq2 to normalize the data. Fifth, calculate fold change. Sixth, check the p-value. Seventh, use a volcano plot to find the strongest suspects. And finally, identify the gene that may be driving the disease. That is how a computer helps find a mutated gene. And that's bioinformatics. It is not magic. It is math applied to biology. We take messy biological data, clean it, compare it, test it, and use it to find answers hidden inside the genome. Follow BioTrap Labs for more simple breakdowns of biology, genetics, and bioinformatics. See you in the next one.